Hello, my name is Eddie Tofpik. I'm Head of Technical Analysis and Senior Markets Analyst at ADM Investor Services International Limited. And here is your weekly technical analysis of New York and London coffee markets.
New York coffee. The start of the move higher in this market was generated by the large bright red April to October 2024 ascending wedge pattern. This pattern had been biding its time since late spring until 21 weeks ago when we saw a significant false break higher, which only resulted in a small double top over September, Adam and Eve type. And that ended up being part of another recent pattern, not so well defined but still there, a mid-August to late October 2024 head and shoulders pattern, with the previously mentioned double top being the split head of the head and shoulders top pattern. Between 18 to 15 weeks ago, the market breached the neckline currently at 271.80 on the downside, but the aspect of this pattern changed, and instead of a head and shoulders top, it became 15 weeks ago a head and shoulders continuation pattern, rallying to the new highs, reaching both the primary and secondary targets for the bright red ascending wedge pattern. On top of all that, a further target topside, a final target up in the 333.55 area, was reached before prices pulled back a bit. That initial big rally nevertheless left one jarring feature, which I spoke about 10 weeks ago. That November was a monthly key reversal up, a highly unusual pattern to see at the top of the market. Prices then travelled in between the late November 24 high at 335.45 and the May 2011 high at 309.10, till in mid-January prices took a fresh flight higher, pushing and closing over the early December 2024 high at 348.35, and into new territory such that by early February the market had broken higher out of the December 2024 dark blue bullish shift pitchfork. The broken upper tine is currently at 392.80, and over the latest 50% projected Fibonacci line at 402.05. There are two features that I'd like to highlight on this daily chart. The first is the obvious dark blue highlighted December 2024 base bullish shift pitchfork. Specifically, as prices are approaching the upper tine, but from the top side this time, currently at 383.15, so it's worthwhile keeping an eye on that. 2 weeks ago, when we were in the 370s, I highlighted what was a potential pattern then, and I described it thus, and I quote, "The other feature is a big picture item, and it's to regard the actions since the start of November 2024 to date as a possible bullish halfway hesitation. If that turns out to be the case, then we might see the current move higher reach up as far as a potential target X in the 415.85 area, way up off the top of my daily chart. This is a possible scenario, and even I think it's quite an extreme one, but I would be remiss not to mention it. I'll be watching this all with great interest." End of quote. Well, we have since then quickly managed to make that extreme target X in the 415.85 area and exceed it, peaking just under 430 even. So what have we now? Well, for this I'm indebted to Ray Bradbury for asking me about New York coffee and my looking at the longer term charts, the monthly charts, where we can see some possible insights. You see, on the monthly charts, which is the longer term charts, I noticed a pattern that had not been immediately obvious to me at the start of 2025, when I last reviewed these, or the end of 2024, when I last reviewed these charts. It is a multi-year 2012 to 2024 very large reverse head and shoulders bottom for bright red neckline on my chart, currently at 273.30. The break higher over this neckline has already reached its primary target, but it has still opened the secondary, harder to reach target X up at 433.35 area. What is interesting about this is that nearby is the next 100% projected Fibonacci line at 433.75. Quite close in the scheme of things. So what does this mean? Does this mean the market will turn at these levels? I could not say, not yet. But I can say that if there was ever an area where the market could hesitate on the top side, then the 433.35 to 433.75 area would be a reasonable choice. I'd watch that area and the market's approach to that area very closely. London coffee. 11 weeks ago I drew a new large pattern that encompasses all the recent significant elements. It is not ideal, as it is quite large, but it does show promise, and is the bright red, shallow, large bull channel, currently 45.73 to 58.95. This latest attempt higher was started from the monthly key reversal up right at the top of the market in November last year. All this led to the creation of another pattern, an early November to early December bullish Andrews pitchfork that has since been finessed into a shallower bullish shift pitchfork for the same move, and is highlighted in dark blue on my daily chart. Right now, prices are just underneath the middle time, currently at 57.80. This shallower bullish shift pitchfork is showing the bullish angle of attack of this market and the support seen from the lower time, currently at 51.71, seen in mid-January, does add some legitimacy to this pattern. The only issue is that the dark blue middle time crosses over the bright red upper bull channel line at the start of March, and that is something to watch out for. Then, this week I noticed yet another but smaller pattern, or rather a potential pattern. A late January to date, possible small ascending triangle, highlighted in bright green on my daily chart, currently 56.87 to 58.50. We are today testing the downside uptrend for this, and it is not certain if it has given way. However, if it does, this will show up another pattern potential for a late January to date double top at the top of the market. What's more, it might become an even Adam type double top pattern. It all depends on what the market does at the uptrend, which is coincidentally right now at the same level as a significant late November 2024 high, both at 56.94. Watch this space very carefully, as I suspect this market may make a very important statement soon.
Thank you for listening and watching this broadcast. This weekly broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. The copyright is Eddie Tofpik and ADM Investor Services International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.